But joining us right now is Representative Matt Van Epps, a Republican of Tennessee. Welcome to the program.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
And you were just sworn in December. You were replacing Representative Mark Green. So I should say welcome to Congress. How's it been so far?
Thank you so much. That's right. Yeah, been here for about a month and a half. I'm the brand new guy, number 435, and it's just a complete honor to be here, represent the Tennessee 7th Congressional District. I live in Nashville. It's an incredible district. I'm so proud of all of our folks from there, and it's been we're still building the plane a little bit as we fly it, but it's just been an amazing experience. All of the other members have been so helpful to get me on board and up to speed quickly.
Well,
Leadership has been great.
That's good to hear. And one of your current committee assignments is Homeland Security.
That's right.
You have oversight over ICE. Just wanted to get your reaction to the shooting death of Nicole Good.
Sure. Well, ICE is executing an incredibly critical mission, and we have to stand with our law enforcement. We've got to stand. That's how I was raised. I served in the U.S. Army, was a special operations helicopter pilot. Our men and women in uniform are doing incredible work for our country to protect our communities, to keep us safe. And when we look at Tennessee, we see a really great example of ICE and other federal assets that have gone into Memphis, that are working with state and local leaders to keep the community safe. Crime is down there, and it's a really great example of that mission being executed. And we've got to protect our law enforcement as they do a really critical job to protect us and our communities.
I want to share with you some numbers from a CBS poll. This was following Renee Good's death in Minneapolis. They found this: 61% of Americans describe ICE's operations as too tough when stopping and detaining people, and 56% say that the Trump administration's deportation program is targeting more than just dangerous criminals. What do you make of those numbers?
Well, this is a critical mission. When we look back under the Biden administration, we had 4 years of failed policies and a totally porous border that allowed criminals to come into our country. And now ICE and other federal assets, in conjunction with state and local leaders and law enforcement, are conducting missions that are critically important. I mean, we look at the number of people who have criminal records. Over 70% of those detained have pending or current convictions or pending charges in the United States, and those are the ones that we know about. We just this past weekend, we saw two folks detained, one from Laos, one from Guatemala, who had charges, criminal homicide and others. And so it is critical that we execute this mission. It's both the safety and security of our families. I want my family and the families of those who are watching to be safe, to be able to go to lunch and dinner and go to church and do that in a way that is safe and they feel secure. You know, I think the other really important piece here too is that those criminals coming across our border, again, with just a porous open border under Biden that the Trump administration has fixed, but those folks are using safety net resources that should be going to Americans. That's another really important piece here too.
You mentioned the mission of deporting dangerous criminals that most Americans are on board with. However, the polling indicates it's the tactics of ICE that is causing concern for Americans. Will you be investigating that as part of your position on the Homeland Security Committee?
Well, we'll have to see what the committee decides to do. I'm honored to be on the committee and to serve in that capacity.
Do you think leadership should investigate ICE tactics?
Well, whatever leadership and the committee chair decide to do, I will be supportive of. You know, I think when we look at Minnesota, we see rhetoric that is just is out of line. We look at the governor and the mayor; they need to tone down the rhetoric to protect ICE and our law enforcement, which is so important. They put on that uniform every day to protect Americans, to protect us, our communities, and our country, and that's what we should be doing is protecting our federal, local, state law enforcement ensuring they have the resources needed to complete their critical mission.
Now, some Democrats are opposing legislation funding DHS unless it includes tougher rules governing the conduct of ICE officers. What do you think of that?
Well, I hope all of my colleagues will vote to move the appropriations bills forward. We've done great work advancing many of those bills. We've got a few more that will be on the floor this week. But DHS is not just ICE, that's a critical component, but it's funding for TSA and Coast Guard and so many other vital programs. And I encourage all of my colleagues to vote for that appropriations bill as we return to regular order, which is really important, is having authorizations and a budget and getting these appropriations bills done so we can get away from the continuing resolutions.
Switching now to Greenland, you served in the Army in aviation, active duty for 10 years. President Trump recently posted on X, or actually on True Social, a mocked-up image. This is an AI-generated image of himself along with the Vice President and the Secretary of State planting an American flag on Greenland with the sign, "Greenland, U.S. territory, established 2026. What was your reaction to seeing that picture?
Well, the president is the negotiator in chief. He wakes up every day with the security of the American people and our country top of mind. And that's what he's doing here. Greenland is strategically important as we look at China and Russia, who are making inroads into the Arctic. And the president sees that, sees the strategic importance of Greenland, and is doing things in our strategic national interest. I mean, Greenland, like Hawaii, is the forward deployed most location for U.S. assets, so that we have early warning and detection and an ability to respond to threats. The president knows that, and he is working really hard as the negotiator in chief to see this come to a successful conclusion.
And Congressman, is the bases that are there not enough for that national security interest? Can they be expanded without purchasing or taking over Greenland and acquiring it?
Well, I think the bases there are vitally important as well. And the president is doing what is in our national interest in being able to ensure that we have that as a strategic position and foothold. And I'm excited to see what comes of the meetings he has this week, and fully support the president's actions there.
And finally, the European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen had said this regarding President Trump's tariffs on Europe. She said the EU's response will be, quote, unflinching, united, and proportional. Do you think these tariffs will harm U.S. consumers?
Well, the president has been using tariffs in our interest. If we continue on the track that we've been on, we'll have $400 billion in 12 months in surplus. And the president uses it as a strategic tool to ensure that we stop getting ripped off and that we get to fair trade. It's a great tool, and the president is using that in our interest.
All right, that's Representative Matt Van Epps, Republican of Tennessee and a member of the Homeland Security Committee. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you so much. Hope you have a great day.
And